Ladies and gentlemen of the Empire, you have by now learnt of the recent events which have proceeded in the Grand Senate in regards to the former Deputy Chancellor and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Lord Bainbridge. I fear I may be the last person in the Empire to learn of what occurred, but nevertheless I was somehow able to regain contact with you all early in the morning of Monday, local time. I had, of course, planned to refrain from speaking publicly about this, as those tasks had been delegated to my good friends in government, Lord Johnston, who was my Chief of Staff, and Lord Muka, the now sole Deputy Chancellor, have both been granted the authority to speak on behalf of the coalition government during my tour. However, as I read through the proceedings in a cafe in Stavanger, I felt that I had to comment. I reaffirm what I spoke in the chambers of the Grand Senate. New leadership within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is required. Leadership I intend to fulfill as Elysium's next foreign minister. For that reason, I supported Lord Billing's motion, and I congratulate Lord Bainbridge for tendering his resignation to His Imperial Majesty and facing the situation with dignity. I have, for the past number of days, remained in contact with His Imperial Majesty, Lord Johnston, Lord Bueling, and Lord Doe. The consensus among us remains that a coalition government is the most effective form of administration that can be formed at this time. However, we cannot invite the Agrarian Party into that administration. So, on behalf of the government, I am announcing that this present ministry will be dissolved and will be replaced with a new ministry, a second O'Neill ministry, which will be supported by the confidence of the Progressive and National Democratic second-class Grand Senators, in addition to the first-class Senators of the National Democratic Party. I will be attending an audience with His Imperial Majesty later today to formally inform him of this decision and to conduct a massive procedural ministerial reshuffle. One cannot understate the monopoly Lord Bainbridge had on our foreign affairs. His dismissal marks the final continuity any office had to the Republic. It is important for me to ensure that the restructuring of the foreign ministry is to occur constructively in order to foster new relations with new nations. In the second administration I intend to lead, in the name of His Imperial Majesty, I intend to nominate to the Crown myself to serve as the Chancellor and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Lord Muka to serve as the Deputy Chancellor and Minister of Home Affairs, and Lord Bueling to serve as the Commerce Minister. In addition, the Crown, the Prince Imperial, and the great officers of state will attend Cabinet as they are constitutionally obligated to do so. In addition, my Chief of Staff will sit in Cabinet, not as my Chief of Staff, but as the Director of a Unionist Corporation. The administration will endeavour to hold full and regular meetings of members of the entire Imperial Cabinet, including the 3 members who are Ministers of the Crown, in addition to the Grand Emperor, His Imperial Majesty Robert II, our newly elected Prince Imperial, His Imperial Highness Johann I, and our 3 great officers of state, who all hail from the greatest corridors of progressive and national democratic tradition. The new administration will begin to organize the inauguration of the Prince Imperial. The election of my good friend as Elysium's Prince Imperial is a sign of our longevity. We have been through a lot. However, we have never faltered to our duties to our nation, to our crown, and to our creed. One day, we will speak of Grand Emperor Johann I. And when that day comes, we will ensure that our oaths and affirmations remain true. For Elysium is not one man. It is us men. Working with my friend and constructive critic over the years, Lord Johnston as director of the Unionist Corporation. The government intends to work closely with that corporation to ensure that there is regular editions of the Elysiumite Gazette and to ensure that the Unionist conducts regular and reliable polling. The Prince Tau Barclay Library and Archive will see permanent staff assigned to its maintenance and upkeep, led by a separately appointed director. The July political party primaries will continue to occur. In particular, I wish every candidate that is running the best of luck. And in regards to my own party, I, of course, reaffirm my intention to run for party leadership of the Progressives, and wish to endorse Lord Christian to be elected as our new permanent deputy leader, to replace Lord Johnson as our deputy leader on an acting basis following the resignation of the opportunistic Maximilian von Meister. And of course, I completely endorse Lord Johnson to be re-elected as our Secretary General. Returning to the affairs of state, the administration will continue to work with the Commerce Minister to clear the slight backlog of requests for incorporation. There are a number of other priorities that this administration will endeavour to complete. They include the creation of a new foreign policy, which I, as Commerce Minister, will formulate with His Imperial Majesty. The appointment of new staff for the Home Ministry, the long-awaited reactivation of the Twitter account of the Unionists, the organisation of various public events, a new examination for the bar exam to reflect the constitutional and other legal changes which have occurred in recent months, the patenting of new nobles, the chartering of the Imperial Court formally, the complete reform of how the Commonwealth system works, including the repeal of the Commonwealth's Enabling Acts, and the introduction of new Commonwealth charters, which, in the beginning, they will be extremely basic, but will be gradually amended to suit the needs of each Commonwealth. For example, if Illyria gains that much of an active political base that it can form an assembly, Illyria will get an assembly, but Tir Convidia cannot formulate an assembly at that point. It won't get an assembly at that point. We will continue the ambassadorial program. In particular, we will see the appointment of ambassadors from Aspen and Bagon and return the favour. We will oversee the reorganization of the Elysiumite micro-wiki pages, and there will be regular broadcasts from His Imperial Majesty and myself. Overall, by the end of the 21st Grand Senate, we aim to have organised a new national security service. We aim to reaffirm our treaty obligations with Aspen, Bagon, and Attila. We aim to re-establish the Imperial Elysiumite Confederation. And aiding His Imperial Highness and myself in our endeavours to document Elysiumite history. And finally, we wish to organise a sporting authority to the delight of many of you. Regarding foreign policy, as the Foreign Minister, I will ensure that our special relationship with Bagon is prioritised, as one day we will enter into a state of personal union with their nation. And for the sake of the Prince Imperial, the Tsar of Bagon, I wish for his two future governments to work amicably as brothers. In particular, I will be reaching out to my Bagonic counterpart, the Grand Prince of Bagon, the Lord High Chancellor, and His Holy and Royal Majesty, in regards to the future of the Elysiumite-Bagonic relationship. To Lord Bainbridge, you have served this country for years. You are now thrusted into the role of leader of the opposition, an office I once held. Your role is crucial in the proper functioning of our democracy. To scrutinize the work of the government, a role I believe you will work well within. Finally, I wish to use this time to encourage you all. Although there are divisions today, and there always will be, we will learn to live in Elysium
where we can see fully the beauty in the diversity of our opinion. That is the future Lord Bueling, Lord Bainbridge, and myself affirmed at our debate in the run-up to the May 2024 election. And despite all that has occurred between us three men, this statement remains completely unchanged. We have members who are descendants of Scottish barons and German lords, from people whose ancestors robbed British supply trains in Northern Ireland, and those who were on the British legal team in Nuremberg. And despite all of that, we are unapologetically Elysiumite. We are united in one nation, under one law, one Grand Emperor, and one Lord. Our future now will only be as glorious as the present we now build. The new government will speak for the interests of the entire empire, not just the empire according to the Progressive Party, or the empire according to the National Democratic Party, but the empire according to the empire. We will make the 21st Grand Senate an assembly for the 21st century. More updates will, of course, be published in due time. Thank you. God bless you all, and wherever you are, have a wonderful day.